Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin. Big at the CoinsKid crew, so you can't win every single trade. I did open a little long on Casper. Did have my stop on this low here, and then I've been stopped out on this particular trade. But you know what? I was probably too hasty to jump into my longs. And like I said to you yesterday in the video on XRP, if this does start to come up and roll over, we may see a bit of a stop hunt here on that pivot low. Now, one thing that was increasing the probability of this trade playing out in this reversal is this here, and I still think that that is a case, okay? Because what we may have done here, what we may have experienced, some kind of stop hunt, a liquidity grab, because everyone, you know, pretty much going long, putting the stops on that pivot low right there to negate the trade, stop hunt, and then we turn around. So I'm going to entertain a long position on this chart, but I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to be a degen and jump in like I've been the past couple of days, okay? And then, you know, experience the stop hunt right there. So what I'm looking at, really simply, there is still a bullish divergence here on this particular chart, okay? If you look at that, we're coming down, low lows in the index on the candle bodies, always use your candle bodies, and high lows in the RSI at the moment, okay? So unless we see a flush and a drop, I will actually entertain building some spot positions to come back up into this God candle back test anyway. So I'm going to add some spot positions right there to come back up, because from here right now, really simply, even if it goes down again, it will come back up into that eventually. And you say, how did you know that? But it's just really simple. God candle back test, support, God candle push through, see you later. Oh, and it's going to zero, buy it, sell it, back up there, job done. 19.3% basically. So I'm buying some spot basically. I'm just going to forget about it, and this chart can do whatever it wants, but I will entertain a long position because, like I said to you, I like to ride the waves there. We're getting really oversold. We've got a bullish divergence on the 4-hourly time frame, and right now we're still coming down on this sloping neckline. So we may have some kind of falling wedge here on the 4-hourly time frame as well. We're getting really close to the apex. If we do start to take out this white trend line and see one close above a 20 EMA on the 4-hourly time frame, which is currently 136.90865, I think that increases the probability. Okay, this is a bit of a bear trap, bit of a stop hunt, liquidity grab on that stop just there, and then we'll see a reversal into that neckline around about 15690. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait for that, and please pay attention to the Discord post for that particular update. So far I've been stopped out on the long, but I'm going to add some spot positions right now to ride this baby back up, okay? And then I'll look for the long position as well, because this is what I do. I like riding the waves with you, okay? Let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now and see what we can see. So revisiting this tweet that I made in November the 20th, 2022, looking at this, Bitcoin looks like a buy, January 2023, sell, January 2025. Will the cycles keep repeating? Is it really that simple? So I did buy a chunk of Bitcoin way back there when everyone was really bearish on that capitulation event for the FTX, because I was buying Bitcoin in June of that year as well, and I did relay that to you. So I've been riding that up. So far, even if we lose this low that I anticipate is the low for Bitcoin here, that's my exit strategy. I'm well up basically. So this is what I always teach you. You buy the blood, you buy the fear. You don't buy the big green candles because you get big with dildos. For example, way back there in March, we were getting big green candles. I said to you, this is you shouldn't be doing that, and this is a tweet that I made for you. Let me relay this tweet to you, okay? So I did make this really important tweet way back here on March of this year, March the 5th. I noticed we're really overextended. We've got 5 waves up on many coins, and we're creating big green candles. So I did say to you, have you been sitting on your hands? The crypto fear and greed index sits at 90, dump moon fastly approaching. If you are looking to get some exposure to Bitcoin right now, then you're doing it wrong. If you pay attention, this channel delivers optimal entry points, low risk setups to negate the long spot position trades. Maximum risk enters the game. So basically I was looking at a wave 4 macro correction. I made many videos on it, and I think that that's exactly what we've been in, and it may have bottomed in August right there. So I'm going to go through that with you as to why I think we have seen the bottom. And obviously every single bottom, people always anticipate another bottom, okay? And this is where it gets really desperate, really depressing, and people are like, it's going to go again and it's going to go lower, we talk about so on and so forth. But this is exactly the same sentiment as I was experiencing way back there in November of 2022, and equally way back there last year September when I found the bottom for you as well. So there is a potential reversal pattern that I've spotted in the charts as well. So I'm going to go through all the technical analysis in the charts right now, but my job on this channel is to deliver warning messages when people are really FOMO-y and overly bullish, and warning messages to you when people are really desperate, depressed and overly bearish. So until I start to see the loss of this structural low, I actually think there's a case that the bottom's in here for Bitcoin, and if I'm wrong, I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do going forward, okay? Let me dive into the charts right now. So look at Bitcoin on the daily time frame. I remember the sentiment back then last year when I was relaying to you, wow guys, we've got a bump and run pattern here. This is a beautiful little bottom pattern. Broke out, back test, see you later, we're coming up, and we've got the 1 2 1 2 3 setup that took out the high. So that was a beautiful pattern that I relayed to you. Way back in November, I made a video called the 5 waves of death. 1 2 3 4 5. Optimal entry point, stop loss, pivot low, ascending triangle. Look at that, beautiful Adam and Eve broke out. No one believed me, beautiful. And right now, am I going to make it 3 times lucky here, okay, for Bitcoin? So right now we've got a potential diamond bottom reversal pattern at the bottom of a WXY correction, and right now we're breaking out. Look at that, we've got beautiful resistance, support, taking EMAs with us. So right now, this sentiment right now is no different to that sentiment and that sentiment in my playbook, basically. So obviously I'm looking for the invalidation. I'll show you that the invalidation was there on that stop loss, moved it up to that stop loss, moved it up to that stop loss, and it took off here, that stop loss, and then boom, took off. So the 3 of 3 is very powerful. So if my analysis is correct, and obviously I could be completely wrong, and if I'm wrong, I do apologise. What we've got here is a beautiful W, X, Y, 1 2 1 2, see you later, third wave breakout into the new year, boom. You're looking at a major vertical here for Bitcoin, and the final 5th wave that comes up just like it did here into the new year, and just like it did here comes up into the new year. So you're looking at 1 2 3 4 5 setup, a 1 2 3 4 5 setup. You're looking at some kind of 1 2 3 4 5 setup into the new year right there, and that's it. It's game over, because on the macro you've got a massive 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5, and at that point I'm all out. Okay, and I relay that to you because you've got the 5 waves up, basically the reversal of the 5 waves of death. 1 2 3 4 5 optimal entry point, 1 2 3 4 5 optimal exit point. Really simple. So until I start to see more data in this particular chart to suggest, okay, the bottom's not in, I do actually think the bottom's in here, and what we've got is a really simple WXY alternation correction that we've gone through, because here we had the 1 into the flat 2 into the 3 into the massive 3. Look at that took out the high as expected, and then we've had a 4, which is basically alternation, isn't it? So you've got a flat correction there, wave 2, WXY, which is a zigzag correction. So that's flat and that's a zigzag. Really simple. So if we take a look, there's a little bit of time symmetry as well, but just because there's time symmetry doesn't mean, okay, it's absolute certainty that we're bottom right now. But it is on our side. 150 bars, 150 days it took from the top to the bottom of that ABC. Okay, and then from here, if we take a look from March to the bottom of this, we've gone roughly 145 days. So basically, 5 days out. It's pretty close to complete the correction. And obviously running to the most bullish time of the year, like we did there, and like we are right now. So we've already seen quite a nice positive reaction for Bitcoin so far. So I wish everyone most luck, but if we do start to break down, I'm completely wrong about the time and the fact that this correction is actually over. And what I would be looking to do, okay, is really simple. If we lose this pivot low from September, and I relayed this to you, if we lose that, I'm selling my Bitcoin that I bought there and I bought there, and I did actually buy a chunk of Bitcoin on that low there as well, for anyone that remembers. Okay, and at that point I'll just sell. Basically I'll just sell my position and I'll look to buy back on this neckline. Really simple. And what we're doing, we're just caught in a bigger complex correction than I actually envision here for Bitcoin. It's a much longer drawn out, more drawn back as well, wave 4 correction than the wave 2 was, basically, because this wave 2 I think it was around about 25%, and so far this has been around about 33%. And obviously the symmetry is the fact that the time, 150 days, 145 days at the moment anyway. So I wish I had the most luck, but going forward I do have my invalidation, and it's this pivot low, because we're looking at 1 2 1 2 setup right now, just like we got there, 1 2 1 2, and again 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, beautiful. And again we've got it here, 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves. If we've got the 1 2 1 2 setup, which is what I'm looking at right now, then the invalidation is really simple. It's this pivot low here, not that pivot low there, which is what a lot of people are looking at. So I think there is a case, and again, I'm not a perma bull, moon tile, whatever. I'm just relaying the data to you. It's the same data that I relayed there. We took off, the same data I relayed there, and we took off. So what I'm looking for, primarily, if we do something like this, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, and we come up, I'm out. Really simple, and I relay that message to you. So is there any other confluence in the charts, and any other charts that we're looking at right now that may be giving us a clue to this? Well, yes, we've got the S&P 500 meeting that technical target at 1.618, which is where I expect Bitcoin to take some of the slack, and then we've got the DXY as well running up off of bullish star events on the daily. So the more that goes up, the more it increases the probability of this, and obviously the tether dominance as well. So keep an eye on the tether dominance, and equally is another chart which I'm going to show you right now. For anyone paying attention, I made a very important video at that time frame way back there in March on a scenario that we needed to see in a chart before we could call for an alt season. Okay, so let me dive into that chart right now. But going forward, my validation of my current bottom theory right now for Bitcoin is really simple. This low here in September, we lose that, I think I'm wrong, okay, because obviously the 1-2-1-2 setup is completely out the window. Now what I think we've done here is basically a double combo WXY correction. We've got 1 2 3 1 2 3. We've got a series of 3 waves. Look at 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. We keep coming up and down in 3 waves. So again, this correction might not even be over, but if it isn't over, we lose that low, and that's the first clue to it not being over, and then I'll buy back on this white trend line. So that's my strategy going forward for you right now, okay? But there is a chance that it is over, and again, I can't guarantee it is over until we start to take out the highs. Take out the highs, absolutely it's over. This was a beautiful little sweet spot. Come up, back test, beautiful entry point I relayed to you. We've got the diamond bottom, just like this reversal pattern down here, and this reversal pattern down here. We've got a lovely little reversal pattern at the bottom, and right now we're taking off. So I wish I hadn't much look. What is the chart right now that may be adding confluence to this final leg theory that's about to emerge here for Bitcoin? Let me show you, okay? So for those people paying attention, I've looked at this scenario with you many times before, and so far so good. This is playing out, and this is part of my confidence. Check the videos way back there in March. There is a linked video in the description right there. I did, make an update for you saying why I don't think alt season's here, but it's around the corner once we get this correction out of the way. And the confluence is in this chart, basically, the Bitcoin dominance. So I know a lot of this people here were saying, okay, the dominance is top and it's going to roll. But I said to you, look, all we're doing there, there's nothing to get too excited about just yet. What we've done, we've got this resistance here, which is basically that support. We're consolidating above it in a range. In theory, this needs to come up before we expect an alt season. So my minimal target is this leg here. And look at this. We're slowly but surely grinding our way back up to this level of resistance where that's it. That's your radar. That's your ding, 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 ding. Your alarm bell's ringing. Okay, right now, we're meeting the qualification of a potential alt season, because what we need to see in this particular chart to get excited about altcoins, okay, over Bitcoin is really simple. We need to start to see it rolling over like this. If we see it roll over like that and then like that, there's your alt season. Really, really simple. But the alt season doesn't come from these levels here. It comes from a big push up into resistance, then a drop. A big push up like this, look, big push up, then a drop. So this is what I'm looking at. You've got this nice little push up right now. If we get a little spike with Bitcoin's breaking out, putting in that final leg, we get a big spike up, and then we're going to get the drop. So I think we're getting really close to that within the dominance within itself. We're trending upwards towards this red line as a qualification, which was my minimal target for the alt season to begin, when everyone was there saying alt season, but I was saying no correction right there. So far so good. It's playing out like an absolute boss. But the one thing that's really difficult in this market is timing the market. This is why I said to you, time in the market beats timing the market. But so far so good. What we've done is broke out resistance, held support, and slowly but surely spiking up. So if we break out here, because there is a trend line in the RSI in the daily time frame which is bearish, we're getting this constant bear dip. Look at that, resistance, resistance, resistance coming down the stairs. If we do see the dominance break out in this neckline and break out of this descending trend line right there, we may see this breakout. Bitcoin goes on, it puts in its final leg, and then we see the qualification in here somewhere for the big spike up like we got there, alt season, big spike up like we got there, alt season towards the end of that cycle and towards the end of that cycle. And this is what we need to see, a big spike up in the dominance to increase the probability of a major drop and a drawdown, which is your alt season. So this is why at this point I was relaying to you, I don't think alt season's there. I think we've actually got a correction as Bitcoin grinds up to at least this red line before we see an alt season. So so far so good for Bitcoin. Please check out the video that I did in the link right there in the video description. It's called alt season, when we will see alt season, basically. So I think we're nearing that. It's getting really, really close as we're starting to create bottom structures right across the board for a lot of these altcoins and potentially Bitcoin as well. But what we want to see in this particular chart is a spike up into this leg of resistance, at least around about 59.73%, and then an alt season's on my radar right there. And at that point, if Bitcoin's breaking out and making all-time highs, I think we'll start to see more appreciation like we did there in these alts. So there's a little bit of confluence as a potential scenario that we're slowly but surely grinding up. We see the big spike, and then boom, we get the drop, and here's your alt season. And we'll try and ride that wave together, okay, as and when I find it. But so far so good. We're grinding up with a bearish divergence. Break out the bearish divergence, then it's increased the probability of the alt season right there. I wish everyone most luck going forward. Please, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope you're enjoying the content. Please smash the like button. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Take care everyone. Bye bye.